Hi, David Hood here, and this video is about the SEO at the Beach conference in February of 2022 in Miami Beach. And the goal of this conference is for you to be able to big time level up, not just your SEO skills, but your ability to run an SEO business and to know more people and to be around more badasses and people who are really committed to doing SEO and people who are really kicking butt and making a lot of money. There's this saying out there, and I think it's by and large true. I think they've actually studied it, that your success is heavily dependent essentially by your peers. So the kinds of people that come to these events, I've gone to a lot of events, is typically like the top 5%. The top echelon of people come to these events because the people who are kind of in the bottom usually have excuses for not coming to events and not taking training or whatever. But this is, I love going to events. Oftentimes I've paid just to go for the people. But with this one, I think that there'll be a lot more than that. There will be cutting edge SEO training. A lot of the stuff is just recent data. There was a big Google update in December of 2021, especially with Maps SEO. And so, getting the latest data on that is going to be important for you to make money, make a lot more money, get ahead of the curve. Even just being a couple months ahead of your competitors sometimes can be a huge difference, although sometimes people are much further behind. I mentioned there's a community of committed SEO pros. These are people who are really committed to their businesses, and this is infectious. And also at these events, when you have a lot of these awesome people, just at the bar or just people going out to lunch, the kind of bombs that are dropped, things that people wouldn't say online, wouldn't say in an email, that you can get in a one-to-one or a small group setting is pretty fantastic. I've gotten some really amazing things from that. I know somebody who was telling me, this whole idea that they got this thing that's making them a bunch of money, it all started with a conversation that they had at a bar at a conference. And people, like-minded people, I don't know about you, but in my SEO business, it's a little bit lonely. There's always people online, but in terms of face-to-face interaction, there's not a lot of people. The people in my life, for the most part, don't really understand what it is that I actually do. So just getting around other people that understand what you do and meeting them face-to-face is incredibly valuable. Okay, so I already mentioned where. It's in Miami Beach. When. So it's going to be all day, Friday and Saturday. It's SEO focused, so it got SEO in the name, SEO at the beach. We're not going to talk about Facebook ads. We're not going to talk about anything unless it's directly relevant to SEO, the SEO business model. And a lot of it is Maps SEO. I would say that's probably the primary type of SEO that you'll see here. So if you don't do Maps SEO, there's still some things for you, but it's not quite as hitting the nose on the head. But if you do Maps SEO, this is the event to be at for the year, I would think. Obviously I can't compare all the events, and not all events have been promoted, but I think this one will be an excellent event that you'll definitely get a lot out of, a lot of unique stuff, a lot of people who have unique data that you don't see anywhere else, or that they wouldn't really share in a more evergreen type product. Lots of SEO agencies are going to be here. Quite a few of the speakers have SEO agencies, and we'll definitely talk about this. But I always enjoy talking to other SEO agency owners and asking them really pointed questions about how their business runs. And this is a perfect place to do it. There will be some things relevant to affiliate. I'll mention this as we go through the speakers and the agenda. The affiliate, again, there will be some stuff that's specific to Maps, but there's some stuff that will definitely be directly relevant to affiliate SEO and enable you to rank and make more money with affiliate SEO. One thing that I asked of all the speakers, and the event that I wanted to create, was no sales pitch focused speeches. So what does that mean? There's a lot of speeches out there. You go to a conference, there's an hour and a half speech, and the whole presentation is basically a sales pitch. And that doesn't mean that you can't get value out of it and that they're doing necessarily something wrong. It's just not how I want when I go to a conference and I sit in a room for an hour and a half, spend that time and energy. It's not really what I'm looking for. Okay, so not that you won't get sold things there. The speakers, might sell you some things. We're considering selling some things at the event. But it's not the focus. It'll be more of an afterthought. It'll be more like, hey, did you get value out of that? Here's some places where you can learn more. Here's an offer or a set of offers that enables you to learn more from this speaker or in this way. Okay, but the whole speech won't be focused. A tailored presentation that gets you in the mindset, this buying mindset. That's not what we're looking for here. I do ask the speakers to give their best SEO stuff and to get this hard hitting stuff. I don't want just a bunch of fluff. I want this to actually be something where I want to sit down and listen to the speakers speak and take notes myself. So a little bit designing this for myself. Okay, so let's talk about the speakers. So this is in no particular order. And I'm gonna just hit some of the highlights of some of these people. I'm not gonna be able to describe all of what it is to know about them. There's some replays that I'll put a link to it below, and I'll mention it here in a second. To some mini events where we hosted these speakers that you can watch, and that'll help you understand a little bit more about them. So Matt Versteeg, he's had like 10,000 GMBs, a lot of good local stuff, a lot of good GMB verification stuff, a lot of good stuff on ranking locally, but also securing your GMBs so that they don't get suspended, and how to get them unsuspended. He has a lot of experience on that. Also, a very systems focused person, so we have that in common. You're trying to systematize and grow as a business, and not just or just to make your job easier and faster and more reliable. Josh Beecraft, man, this guy probably has the widest breadth of knowledge of anybody I've met in SEO. It's kind of hard even for me to kind of narrow it down. It's like, okay, we can't talk about everything, even though he could probably talk about most everything that there has to do, most every major concept in SEO. Kind of have to narrow it down. He does a lot of local SEO, knows the schema. A big systems guy, really smart and understanding kind of the business aspect of SEO, and also sort of the personal aspect of your personal drive. Really great guy, real mensch who really definitely helping others unleash their bottlenecks. This is very true. It's Terry Samuels, well known. He has his own conference as well. He does a lot of client SEO, a lot of local, a lot of schema. Man, all these people have been around so far. All these people I've listed have been around for many years, at least 5-7+ years. Every single person on here. Some people even longer. I think he's been around quite a while, even before this, 8+ years. Very well known and very experienced at SEO. Joshua Fletcher, or Fletch. He's well known in some communities. If you come from the OMG world, he was a coach there for a long time, and he has some unique perspectives on things that's really useful, because with SEO there's all sorts of different perspectives you can get on things, and sometimes you might think a specific SEO concept, and maybe you actually do, but that doesn't mean that sometimes somebody comes along and they give you a different angle to look at it from, and it's like, oh wait, and it gives you a deeper understanding, and it makes your SEO that much stronger, or for you to identify certain situations that you wouldn't identify before, or certain opportunities that you wouldn't identify for. He's got this Constellation SEO that was really cool that he's come up with recently, that was very eye-opening for me when he explained it to me in a hot tub. We were sitting in a hot tub in the mountains in Colorado in August of 2021 at the Mastermind in the Mountains that I was running, and he me and him and like nine other people, all with SEO businesses, and when he was explaining this to me, the implications of it were really massive. And it sounds like he's actually improved on that. So I'm really excited. A real good guy. All these people on here are real good people who actually are trying to help. Like they're not just here to try to make a quick buck or to just improve their reputation or whatever. They're actually trying to help people. They like helping people. Michael Tessalona, he's got a very focused business on doing just SEO and just client SEO. That's his whole business pretty much. I think when I wrote this, they've already added quite a few active SEO clients, and this guy knows a lot about sales. He knows a lot about SEO. A real nice guy, and again, there's going to be a lot of agency stuff there, and he's known. All these people are known in certain circles. Eric Fawcett, my co-host on the event, knows a lot. Studied sales heavily. He has his own business where he runs it with SEO as well. I believe he said last year he was almost quite to $1 million a year with that. And, he's one of the few people who, like pretty much everyone else I list here, still has to work pretty hard, and that's great. I think they love what they do, and they still have the freedom to not work when they want to, for the most part. But they still have to work a pretty good amount. Eric probably could work, like a day, a month, and still have his business run really well because he's built the systems. He understands the building of a business. And there's just a lot that he knows about SEO and business and sales and stuff like that. Again, a real great guy who obviously I partnered on him with for a reason. Partnered on him with it for this event for a reason. And he's a Marine, just like Brock Meisner. Kind of a little bit of an underground guy until recently. A lot of people, though, I found out actually maybe I just didn't know about him, but a lot of other people do know about him. He does a lot of his own unique testing, which I really appreciate. Not just testing other people's techniques, but coming up with his own ideas and testing them with real world data. That's really cool. Really maps focused. So back to this, Fletch actually, this stuff has worked for maps and non-maps. Michael Tessalona is much more maps focused because his client base is maps focused. Brock Meisner is maps focused. Leo is not maps focused. He's got affiliate marketing and automatic content creation, and his stuff is directly connected to Fletch. It'll give you kind of a different perspective on like Fletch's stuff. But back to Brock Meisner, real good guy. Really tries to help people. Really just puts it out there what he knows and doesn't BS people. And I'm very excited to have him. And then Leo or Left Terrace, a data scientist who's really been mining the data and trying to understand some of the more complicated parts of Google's algorithm. Very excited to have him. He's got some really cool stuff planned for that is just like right up to the day of the event. He's going to give the most up-to-date data because he's been working really hard on building something and building a data set and some stuff that I think will be really valuable. And for me, I've been running an SEO agency since 2012 and have been training people to do SEO since 2014. I also do SEO lead generation. My business is all centered around SEO. I have I identified maps as a critical piece in I want to say 2017, 2018. I guess this is 2017 here. And whenever Google started to put they changed to the 3-pack and they put the maps results in a lot more search results, I kind of thought, there's a lot of my clients, not all of them, but a lot of them this is relevant to. A lot of my projects this is relevant to. And so I've been focused pretty heavily on learning SEO stuff, testing SEO stuff. I have my own properties, the lead gen properties I can test whatever I want on. So I have a lot of data. And, I think, I've studied business and SEO business and stuff. And I think I can help a lot of people who are, maybe they're not sure about the direction or making those big strategic decisions. I think that's something that I can definitely help with. So it's just kind of the crash course in the speakers. Again, I'll put this link below. You can get to know the speakers better at the mini event replays. I'll put this link below. And we're updating this. At the time of shooting this, there's 2 replays in the queue that are about to be put up. And so actually, let's check out the conference agenda. Just a really quick overview. And again, this is subject to change. And this is, I'm giving the speakers a good bit of freedom to choose what they think can impact people the most. So there could be some slight variations, but in general, this is what I'm asking for them to do. So Matt is very good at getting your own he's got a lot of processes. There's a lot of people out there like, oh, you just do A and B, or you just go post something on Craigslist and ask people to get $50. And it's like, yeah, you can kind of do that, but there's a lot of little steps, a lot of points of failure, and a lot of places that you wouldn't think if you hadn't done it before, places for leverage. So he's got some really cool systems or some really cool ideas. Ranking GMBs and locally. So not just ranking the Google My Business page, but ranking in the local search and the non-maps. And scaling rankings and clients, sort of like systems and growing your money. And he's got, I've heard some people say, for each GMB, they have one website and they never do more than, or for each website, they have one GMB and they never do more. He's got some systems and processes where you can actually have more than one GMB, which really helps build the authority of the brand, which is really powerful. Terry, on page, silo. I guess I have examples of silos and then some advanced schema. He's actually going to, as a bonus to people who come, he's going to give away his schema templates, which he's sold for $3,000, which is really great. I'm excited to get those because they're kind of custom built. and that stuff is really hard to do and easy to mess up. Leo, as we talked about, he's got the advanced keyword research. He's actually got a tool called Keyword Cupid that he's built that a lot of people like, that really gets into sort of like the NLP, topical authority, and the keyword clustering, and affiliate SEO. And also part of that is, if you're doing topical authority, you want to create a lot of content. And so he's studied like creating mass content creation. So Josh's talk is probably the most up in the air. And I've kind of nailed him down on this, but I think we need to focus a little bit more, because again, he just knows so much. It's just like, okay, there's too much breadth to his knowledge. We need to narrow it down to a few hard-hitting things. But like, he's got some cool stuff on interlinking, the high frequency linking dynamics, content diversity. Really, how does Google define quality content? This is not well understood. How to get and deal with large national and e-com clients. That's not something I usually deal with. And then for the VIP ticket holders, and I'll mention there's different ticket options. There's a Q&A with all the speakers at 5:30 at the end of the day for about an hour and a half is what we'll look at. And then for the Platinum VIP, there's a lounge where we'll have those people with the speakers. It's rooftop over to this direction. There's the beach, so you can see the beach from there. And that's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. It's already been pretty popular. I think we'll sell that out, actually. And then we have Michael on day 2 talking about, he's going to talk about lorem ipsum. I need to fix that. How to build a scalable SEO agency, scalable local SEO processes. I think we're going to talk about, it's not just about local SEO, doing SEO for one person. It's about how do you set yourself up to do SEO for a lot of different businesses. Fletch, very excited about that. We talked about constellation SEO, advanced deep keyword research techniques. How to do Fletch is, if you know Fletch, it's he's got a good philosophy on life, and I think everybody will get a lot out of what he has to say. Brock has some underground local SEO tech hacks that like nobody else is doing. GMB tricks, more map stuff. And Eric's going to talk about sales. I haven't put this on here yet. He's going to talk about his $900,000 a month business model with SEO that is pretty unique, that allows him to work, only about a day a month, and his business still makes him a lot of money. I'm going to try to put all the pieces together, and actually Josh is going to help me with the master process documentation. I think he's going to put it all in ClickUp templates. So all the stuff that the speakers talk about, this is really exciting. This is a cool bonus that some people have said is like worth the price of the ticket by itself. Put all the documentation, the processes, the systems, the SOPs, and more into one database for all the people that come, so that they can go back, and it's not just like, okay, well, what do I do with this, or how do I actually execute on it? So I've got all these new ideas. How do I execute? We're going to try to leapfrog that for you. We're going to try to zoom you ahead to where you can start taking action right away. And kind of planning your next actions. And then we got the VIP again and the Platinum VIP again. So that's the agenda. Okay, so we're gonna look at the tickets now, the ticket options. So there's 3 different ticket options. You have so I'm shooting this video in about mid-January. The price of these tickets, we haven't announced this yet, and there'll be a timer on here soon. But the price of these tickets will go up at the end of January. So if you come back in February and you look at these prices are higher, then that after watching this video, just know that that's kind of what's going on right now, or what's going on. So we have a $497 ticket, a $997 ticket, and a $1997 ticket. And there's still more on here that I haven't put on here yet, in terms of like there's some bonuses and stuff that I haven't added to this actual tickets page. So basically, you get to come to the event for the general admission. You get to go to the presentations. You get part of the private Facebook group. You'll get the bonuses, Terry's bonus, Josh's bonus of the ClickUp templates, and Terry's bonus was the $3,000 schema templates. And there's some other bonuses we have planned that I haven't announced yet, but those are at a minimum. That's what you'll get for bonuses. And for the kind of information you're going to get, I think this $497 is a really, really great deal. And you're going to get a lot out of that. Just being in the room with these awesome people, I think, is really, really cool. And having an excuse to come to Miami in the in the February is great. Let's see. I wanted to point this out. I searched up like what February Miami Beach weather is like in February, and this guy described it as heaven on earth. It's warm, but not too hot, and it's also the driest month, so it'll be basically sunny all day. So you get the sun, but it won't be sunny hot. It's not like sunny in like 90 degrees. It'll be sunny in like mid to low 70s, which sounds freaking fantastic because I'm in Dallas right now and it's still actually pretty cold. Sometimes we get nice days, but by and large it's pretty cold. Let's go back to the tickets. Okay, so then there's the VIP ticket. So you get everything that you get with the general admission ticket, and then there's also you get executive seating. There's VIP only seating that will be available in the front and the back. I like to sit in the back sometimes. And I know some people like to sit in the front, so if you want the front seat, you get the VIP. There's also some pre-recorded trainings. The GMB resurrection method is and GMB get out of jail free card creations. That's my own techniques, and also the getting access to GMBs where you've lost GMB access. There's some sales recordings. And some additional ClickUp SEO templates. Actually, I think this is moved to everybody right here. There's a few other things that I haven't mentioned here, but you get some pre-recorded training that you'll have access to, some of it immediately. And then there's the VIP only Q&A and hot seat. So I showed that on the agenda at the end of each day. You'll get that. And we've sold several of those as well. There's only so many spots we can do for that just because of kind of the front and back type of situation. Okay, then there's the platinum. Everything you get with the general admission and the VIP, and then you also get platinum VIP lounge access. So you get access to our top secret rooftop lounge, penthouse ocean view outdoor lounge. Penthouse? Okay. And you can access it basically daily. There's a hot tub up there. There'll be refreshments. This is also where we'll have likely have dinner with the speakers, and then the special after hours hangout at the same place. So this cool place where you'll get to rub elbows with some of the awesome people that are going to be there, the speakers, and then also the other kind of this is when I would never have guessed this when I first started going to events like this. The kind of people that buy these tickets, so the other people who have purchased this, are the people who are really balling too, that you might not even know about. Like there's a lot of people out there who don't talk about SEO, they don't talk about their success, they don't train anybody, but they're killing it. Okay, and some of those people, I know that one person, who's doing that is just bought the $500 ticket, and that's fine. So, he's going to be there, and he's making over $1 million, a year. He's making like $125,000 a month or something like that, well into the six figures per month. Point is, at these levels, you're definitely going to get some of that, and at these levels, you're going to get even more of that. And there's going to be kind of a social event tailored for you to hang out with the people. And sometimes you just that one question, you're in this group of like 4 people, you're all standing around and you're just like, I got this question that there's not really been the context for me to ask this, and you're not really sure about the answer if you ask somebody like digitally, because are they giving the right answer? Because there's kind of an audience, maybe somebody's going to copy and paste it. But if you're just sitting there, you're hanging out, having a drink or something, and you can ask some pretty pointed questions and you get different answers than what you would get otherwise. So this is really great, and you build the connections to people who, it's really helpful to have a good set of people who trust you, who know you, who you can contact if you get stuck. Even the best of us get stuck sometimes, or just to look at things from a different perspective on like a really important project. There's some really valuable stuff here. So this has already been basically half sold out. So those are the ticket options. What will you get out of it? It's hard to say because it depends on, the way you approach it. But broadly speaking, you'll get SEO training, you get SEO systems and documentation and processes that you can take home with you. Cutting edge SEO training, you'll get to rub elbows with some of the best in the industry, not just the speakers, but the people that come to these events. I know, again, there's some ballers that are coming. And I think you'll get changed. I think you'll grow as a human being, grow as a business owner, grow as an SEO professional coming here. And I wanted to kind of walk you through what it would feel like, because I do think this is really important, that when you're there at the event, I think it'll be sort of like halfway through the first day, when I think for the people who are there, it's going to hit them, wow, I'm really glad I didn't miss this. I think that's going to be something that is going to go through a lot of people's heads. Some form of that is going to go through people's heads as they're like, man, just they're looking around. They've heard a little bit of the talks, or they've already gotten value just from the talks, but then they're looking around, they're seeing all these badasses around them, and they're realizing that there's still more to go. And it's just, I think that this could be, a moment of clarity. It's like, man, I'm so glad I was here. I'm so glad I took the time and energy, because I know that you got to potentially fly out here. You got to get a hotel on top of buying the ticket. So it's not super, it's not like, oh, you just, it's not super easy for some people. Some people they it's kind of expensive. But I think it'll be really, really worth it. And I think virtually everybody who comes with even a reasonable attitude should get a lot out of this event. Also, I think also a moment of clarity will be like the Sunday morning after the event, when you wake up and you realize your brain's on fire. You have all this systems and documentation for these new ideas and new techniques and new angles to look at things, and you realize that how much more powerful you are, and how much more powerful you're going to become in the near future. I think that's going to be a great feeling as well. That's what I think we're going to be able to accomplish for the attendees. Again, if you come and you engage and you with a good attitude, then it's almost guaranteed that will happen. Okay, so a couple of questions that I've been getting. Is there going to be a virtual option? So on the website, it has said no. Okay, again, I'm shooting this in mid-January 2022, and Omicron has come and it's sweeping through, and some things are shutting down. So, and some people just aren't going to be able to come. Some people, they internationally, and they just can't leave the country, or they've got like a family member who is heavily susceptible to getting very sick with COVID, and they don't want to spread COVID. I respect that. Okay, and so originally, I thought when I first planned this that by this time COVID would kind of be over or whatever. And so I was going to be like, look, the value to us to be able to create a great experience for all the attendees, I'd rather have that one butt in the seat versus even like 10 people virtual option, even if they paid the same price. At this point, I feel like we're going to need to offer some sort of virtual option. I'm going to need you to stay tuned. So if this is a couple weeks later, we'll probably be presenting a virtual option. I think we're going to provide some sort of virtual option. I want to let you know ahead of time that it will be, a lot of times I think that this is not exactly correct, or it's just that there's a very different context here, that where the virtual option typically is less expensive, is the least expensive option. That will not be the case here. It will definitely be more expensive than the least expensive ticket. It'll be a different option. And when you think about it, it's like, okay, well, you're paying $497, but then those people are also paying with their time and their energy and the hotel and the plane ticket. So it's still, even if the virtual option is more expensive to me and Eric, to the SEO at the beach, you're still probably paying less. But being in person, you're going to get the most value for sure, because being in the room and the people that you surround you with has a huge effect on what you rank for. Or not what you rank for. Well, indirectly what you rank for, but how successful you are. At the same time, I think this training is going to be hard hitting and very valuable for people. And there's a lot of stuff in here that you're going to want to see. So I think we are going to offer a virtual option. TBD on that, coming soon. Let's just put it that way. Okay, lodging options. I wanted to talk about this because when I first booked the event, the venue, the rooms were. I wouldn't say they were expensive, but they weren't wildly expensive. You could get a room for like $300 a night, which is pretty expensive, but not out of range, out of reasonableness. And now it's like $800 or $900 per night, which even for people who are balling out, that's after fees and stuff. That's like, if you're gonna do 3 nights, that's like $3,000. I don't think that's very reasonable for most people. So what I wanted to show you was here's the beach. The Royal Palm, South Beach, Miami. These places, there's several places right along here that are not that expensive. This one's like less than, I think actually when you do the right dates, here we go. It's $193. I can't remember if that's per night. There's actually one of these you can actually, you can actually get like if you really want to be cheap, or inexpensive, and you just really want to make it to the event, they have things where you can like share a room with people and get just like a bed for like $60 a night, so that can be really cheap. And I don't want to look up flights because it's, it depends on where you're coming from. But in terms of, there's a lot of options along here. So there's a lot of hotels. There's also Airbnb and VRBO that you could potentially check out. So there's a lot less expensive options than what original. And I'm going to shoot a whole video on this and put a page up on the website soon to let people know, hey, I have heard people say, oh man, that hotel is just super freaking expensive. And I like to stay at the hotel as well, but you can stay really close by within walking distance for much less if you want to. Okay. A common question also is this for SEO experts? Is this for beginners? Is this for people kind of in the middle? And I'd say, without getting too, without trying to attract everyone, it can. I think every person in wherever they are along the SEO expert spectrum will be able to find something for themselves. So let's start with people who are already SEO experts, people who already can rank really well, who've heard about a lot of the stuff. I think that these people don't need as many golden nuggets, as many ahas as some of the beginners and the middle ground people need to get really good value out of the event. And also, I think that the networking is going to prove more immediately valuable to them, just because, again, sometimes it's just that one little linchpin of an action set that they're missing, or that they've done wrong. They don't see that can really put the pieces of the recipe together for them. So I think there's going to be if you come and you really think that, and you actually engage with the event, and you're like, hey, I didn't learn anything, come to me and I'll take care of you. Okay, so don't worry about that. So I think you'll learn stuff. I think you'll be happy that you were there, even if you're an expert. So for beginners, some of the stuff will be advanced. Okay, so they're definitely, it's hard to say like what's advanced SEO. Well, I think that there's a lot of like trying to draw those lines, and it's not that clear cut what is advanced and what's not advanced. I've taught people who know nothing about SEO what other people would consider to be pretty advanced SEO techniques, and they're able to get it or at least they're able to do it. Like I'm talking with regards to my team of VAs. So what is really beginner SEO is kind of unclear, but an SEO person, that's somebody, if you don't have a lot of SEO experience, I still think you're going to be able to get a lot of it. The process documentation, the systems and stuff that you'll get will be awesome. And also the more advanced things, just getting it rattling around in your brain and taking that and coming back to it several times, you can level up really, really quickly. Okay. And then getting to know the other badasses in SEO is going to be valuable for you as well. Getting yourself on that journey and knowing what's possible. I think that'll be really valuable. And then those who are kind of in the mid ground of SEO, or wherever you want to put it, maybe they're not beginners, but they're not SEO experts. I think they're going to be able to get a lot out of this as well. I think this kind of person will really be able to take themselves to the next level, because they'll have the foundation to where, like, when somebody talks about something, it won't just sound like Greek. They'll actually understand most of it, at least the foundation of it, and they'll be able to ask the right questions, and they'll be able to level up very quickly. And then again, the process documentation, I think that's going to be, some people, again, one guy was like, man, that's worth the price of the event by itself. That stuff's going to be really helpful. This is a weakness of a lot of people. And so I think that, if you're like, hey, I'm too much of an expert, I'm not enough of an expert, I think that there'll be something for everybody here. As long as SEO is a significant part of your business, then there'll be something here for you. If you have any more questions, I did talk about the weather. It's going to be great. So, I was looking at let's actually look at the weather in February, or in the area you live. I guess you already probably know it, but most of the country, it's pretty cold. Even in Dallas, it's pretty cold. And I'm looking forward to getting to the beach and having some good weather. If you have any more questions, please feel free to PM me or Eric on Facebook, or you can shoot me an email at david@digitaldominationdojo.com. Okay, here's some objections that I want to address, because I think that there's some misconceptions in some of these objections. So it's too expensive. The ticket plus the hotel plus the plane and everything else, it just ends up being really expensive. So there's a couple counterpoints to this. First of all, the value of being at this event, of learning these things, of talking to these people, of interacting and changing the circle of your event is of your kind of your sphere of influence, of the people that are influencing you, it's hard to measure that. That is extremely valuable. That's worth $100,000. I mean, it could be worth a lot more. I mean, what's the value of you being able to sign more clients and be able to do better SEO for them, and then to snowball that? So it's like about exponential growth here. So in terms of the value you get, I think that it's definitely not too expensive, even if you get the $2,000 ticket. And the hotel is expensive, but you can get, I point out, there's places close by that you can get inexpensive hotels. And I bet there's even people who, you know, just find a dude who you know is going, and because there's going to be a Facebook group, and be like, hey, you know, we can double up on the beds. There's a lot of, you know, 2-bed hotel rooms. Fine, you know, and save some money that way. But you can find some cheap plane tickets, or maybe even drive to save some money if you're, you know, close enough. So I think you can get in for pretty inexpensive, and I think the value is really high. So I don't think this, for most people, this is probably not a good reason, because if you're committed to SEO, you're gonna have to spend time and energy on training. Okay, nobody out there knows it all, and getting other people's perspectives is incredibly valuable. I had somebody say, well, I already can rank really well. I don't really need to learn anything more about SEO. Well, he can rank well now. Part of my argument is like against that is like, well, you can rank well now, number one. Number two, and I kind of question, like, okay, can you really rank as much as you want? You know, why aren't you making $20 million a year if you can really rank as much as you want? Just go out there and rank the crap out of everything. And he's not. So, but maybe he could. There's also the systems. The systems aren't very good. So it's not just about the SEO. Getting to know the people, these more people in the sphere. And this same guy was also like, I already have enough friends. And it's sort of like, well, yeah, but knowing more people is going to help you. Just the more people that you know that are badass and doing awesome things and staying focused on their business is going to be more and more valuable to you. But also, I think that the chances of somebody coming into this, and even somebody who knows a lot and not having at least a few valuable aha moments, I think is almost zero. Just because with SEO, there's so many different angles to look at things. There's so many ways to understand it deeper and to get better, not just at SEO, but also at the SEO business, that I would be shocked if anybody comes and they really don't get a lot out of it. Another objection would be COVID. So again, this is, for some people, this is a reasonable objection, and I'm not going to make like a judgment one way or another. Some people don't care about COVID and they're just going to live their lives, and some people, you know, they want to hole up in a mine, you know, in a bunker. For, you know, wherever you fall on that, that's your you know, I'm not gonna, you're still my customer. If you are interested in this, I'm still a customer, and I want to take care of everybody on that spectrum. And so part of that is, yes, there will be some sort of virtual option. We're working on what we're gonna do that. It's kind of a last minute thing, but also, you know, if you're worried about COVID, and you're fully vaccinated, and you don't have like comorbidities, you know, I think you got a reasonable chance of, you know, not having this really be bad for you. But again, that's your health. I'm not going to make those health decisions for you. With anything you do in life, there's risk. Getting in the car, you know, just what's the statistic that driving to the airport is more dangerous than actually being on the airplane. Just if you drive in a car every day, you got to take some amount of risk. And so, you know, again, this isn't like me telling you, forget about the COVID, or, you know, if you're afraid of COVID, then you're just a scaredy cat or whatever. That's not what I'm saying at all. Again, I'm going to offer, we're going to work on a virtual option. Don't have the exact details on that yet, because this is a new thing. Again, you look at the recent COVID cases, and it's like shot up like a hockey stick. And so, you know, here's what I would like you to do. If this is a concern of yours and you're really interested in the virtual option, please PM me so that I know that there's enough people that are interested in this for us to put the time and energy into it, because it will be a lot more work for us to be able to provide this. And I was hoping to simplify things, but definitely let me know. So anyway, more objections. If you're like, hey, I'm interested, but there's these things that I don't like, or I think that are going to prevent me from buying the ticket, please let me know. I'd be very happy to open that conversation with you. And if you're, you know, sometimes people have a reasonable objection. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. And there's nothing I can say about that. Or sometimes people have an objection. I'm like, actually, here's a different way of looking at it that I think you're missing, that actually changes the picture quite a bit. So please have that conversation with me. I'd love to have those talks, just to talk to people about about the event. So anyway, I think I've talked long enough. If you're still with me, thank you very much. And I appreciate you. Please like the video and subscribe for updates to this. And I hope to see you in Miami Beach in February. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.